Hello everyone, you're listening to the Earful Tower podcast. My name is Oliver G. My guest today is known in many circles as Lovely Lena, by her own choice.
No, you can't, that's unfair.
It's my wife, Lena.
Hi.
A shoe and handbag designer.
Yep.
But also an illustrator, and that is the shoes you'll be wearing today.
That is the shoes.
We're going to talk about the children's book that we have just launched, but before anything, this episode is dedicated to two things. First is dedicated to the microphone I always use, which slipped out of my pocket as I was scooting along the boulevard in Pigalle.
And rest in peace.
Yeah, pieces.
Rest in pieces. Trusted companion.
It was probably crushed by a cement mixer behind me or something like that, some big truck, which I hope is not a metaphor for my career or anything like that.
Wow.
But
this went dark quickly.
So just for you guys at home, usually I record all my episodes on a little microphone, which literally did fall out of my pocket on the scooter, I believe, or someone picked my pocket. I doubt that though.
They just wanted your voice.
I don't know. But that one was gone, and then I was locked out of the studio. So the other dedication in this episode is to Luke's English podcast. It's Luke Thompson, a friend of mine who lives around the corner, and I texted him and said, I'm in a bit of a pickle. Can we use your home studio? That's why our voices might sound a bit different.
Maybe it sounds even better.
Probably. We'll have to keep coming back. So thank you, Luke, if you're listening. Check him out, especially if you're learning English. That's what it's all about. Luke's English podcast. So, shall we get on with the real story about our children's book?
Yes, please.
Well, let's play the jingle.
All right.
So, Lena.
Yes, Oliver.
We've written a children's book, and let's be honest, the response has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, very exciting.
Phenomenal. It's so what we're going to do is we're going to tell the sort of behind the scenes story, give you a little bit of extra info, and explain the idea, I guess, and give some extra things than what we've already said on YouTube, but just to catch everybody up. Maybe I'll just do the sort of 1 minute version.
Yeah, do a quick round.
A quick fire round. So Lena and I spent a lot of the lockdown and the deconfinement writing and illustrating a children's book. I wrote the words, she drew the pictures. It's based on the crocodile that lives in the Canal Saint-Martin in Paris. And it's just a sort of charming, fun book with elegant illustrations.
What you just said might raise a lot of eyebrows.
A lot of eyebrows raised.
Yeah, maybe a lot of people don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe someone's driving down the highway. I was thinking about this the other day. I was in a car driving and they were listening to a podcast. And I was thinking about the people that listen to this show and what they're doing. A lot of people will be driving, listening to this. If you are, look out the window to your right. What do you see? Is it exotic? Is there water? Maybe there's water. Yeah, that's nice. I'm imagining water. I'm imagining like a bridge off in the distance.
Oh, wow. Picturesque.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going off track here.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Well, water, there's canals.
Yeah, okay.
Back to the topic. So we wrote this children's book. We launched it on Kickstarter. The idea, just like the other book that I wrote, you self-publish it, you fund the printing through a Kickstarter campaign. And we set the Kickstarter campaign at 10,000 euros, which would cover the initial print run if we reached it. We launched on YouTube. We wanted to have an event, actually.
Yeah, we had everything planned and it would have... Well... But forget about it. Yes. Forget that now.
Yeah, this is the short version. Anyway, so we launched on YouTube, pressed launch, and went to bed, woke up in the morning, reached the goal.
Incredible.
In 9 hours.
Gobsmacked.
Kickstarter emailed and said, you can scream now because you reached it in 9 hours. Congratulations. And as we speak now, I think it's at 16,000 euros.
Yeah.
Which is just so humbling and we're extremely grateful for it.
Well, I'm just so excited to be able to know that this book is going to be in so many hands.
Exactly. And that's the idea. As it continues to grow, as the tail continues to get longer on this thing, we're looking into how we can make it better and bigger and printing more copies and things like that. It's exciting. But what we really want to do is to give some behind the scenes. So now you're up to date with the story. I suppose the main question is, why a crocodile in the Canal Saint-Martin? And I'm sure that there are new listeners here who don't know the full story. But I think if we rewind and play a little clip from an old episode, everything will...
crystal clear.
I think so. So to set the scene, I was making a sort of documentary podcast. Do you remember this? You were there, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Is my favorite episode.
Yeah, me too.
And also, I just love a modern day Paris mystery.
Yes.
Because it's rare.
I said that on the YouTube video. A lot of people in Paris are talking about the same stories forever. Mm-hmm. Same.
Yep.
Henry IV got his toe cut off or whatever.
Guillotine this, guillotine that.
It's great. Those stories are great, but we need some new stories, and here's the modern mystery. So I'm searching for this beaver in the Canal Saint-Martin because I'd seen it, and I was obsessed with it. I was making a kind of documentary conspiracy-style episode.
But like tongue-in-cheek.
Very tongue-in-cheek. Asking everyone, had they seen the beaver? And then there was this elderly woman sitting on a bench, and I sat down next to her, and this is what she told me. I'll play a little harp music, and I'll just replay from this episode from about 2 years ago. So this is what she told me. So you're sitting here on the canal.
Yes.
Just looking.
Yes, I have an appointment.
Okay.
With a doctor, but I prefer to stay before here because I like.
You like to look at the canal?
Yes, and I especially like all the canal, the trees, and that little. J'existe.
She had an almost wistful look in her eye, this woman. I started to probe her about the animals in the canal, leading up, as I had with all the other interviews, to whether there was actually a beaver in there. Then, the very next words out of her mouth changed the story, and somehow made a beaver, huge or otherwise, seem so insignificant.
And just for the record, while I do have the name of this woman, I've decided not to use it because what she's about to confess is actually illegal and kind of worrying. Have you ever seen any animals in the canal?
Animals?
Yeah.
Ducks.
Ducks?
That's all.
That's all? Someone told me that there is an enormous beaver, a castor.
Oh, it would be nice.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
But do you think it's possible?
Yes, why not?
Well, a lot of people say it's impossible.
I know there is crocodiles. I know.
How do you know that?
I put them.
You put them in there?
But it's a secret.
Is that what you're seeing the doctor about?
Shh. I put 2 of them here.
Did you really?
Yes, it is real.
You honestly put 2 crocodiles into the canal Saint-Martin?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
When did you do that?
A year ago.
How big were the crocodiles?
Yes, but I don't know where they are
but
now.
How big were they when you put them in?
Oh, very little.
That's about 30 centimeters.
Yes, babies.
I haven't heard that for years. Wow, I forgot how real it is,
she's a funny lady, huh?
I guess in my mind it's just like, it's just a funny old story and it's not like it didn't really happen, but
Yes.
But yes. I put them there.
So so it was 2 crocodiles as well. But that so that story
follow-up book.
Oh yeah. The missing
brother,
crocodile.
Kyle.
So Kylie, we haven't talked about that, but the story is really. So when you interview people on a podcast every week, it's unusual if an episode goes viral. It doesn't make sense unless someone said something outrageous. Like if you had the Prime Minister on and he said something racist, then a podcast goes viral. Otherwise, they just sort of continue along. But this one really got traction, and it's been written about in newspapers around the world. John Baxter wrote it into one of his books. I wrote it into my own book. I was on the radio talking about it. And other events and so on. That one really got legs. And me and Lena, we talked about this a lot, and we always loved the story. And on the way over to Luke's house now, we were talking about how this children's book came to be, and we couldn't quite remember.
No, that's the weird thing. We were just in lockdown one day, and I guess we just the idea came to one of us, and we don't know.
One thing that we are sure of is about 2 years ago, we just experimented with writing a children's book about something. It was about a liger.
In Paris?
Yeah, a cross between a lion and a tiger. It was just for fun. We just totally did it for fun. We showed some people who worked in the industry. They're like, we love it. We're going to do it. It'll take 2 years and it'll cost this much. And you maybe will make some money off it one day. And I was like, what? Forget it. And then we put it in a drawer and forgot about it forever. And then lockdown came along.
And we were like, we want a project.
That's right.
And something to do.
And then somehow we came to the idea of doing the crocodile. I came up with the name Kylie. We got a lot of email. We've been getting a lot of weird and fun.
Hate mail?
Not hate mail, but we got a lot of unusual mail as well. No, mostly we got lovely mail, but there's been some funny ones, and we can read some out too. But I came up with the name Kylie because it rhymes with Smiley, and she's a friendly crocodile, and crocodile-y, it's a rhyming book.
Smiley, crocodile.
And then I just wrote the words, and then started drawing the pictures.
Yeah.
And maybe you could talk a little bit about what the style of the pictures are.
Yeah, sure. Actually, the style goes back to the first, the Liger story that we did. So it's very, even with the text, it's like similar sort of rhyming. So we had we had the style figured out what we like. And for the illustrations, also like similar style. But this time, I just felt like, so the style is quite 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really like. That aesthetic speaks to me.
1950s.
Yeah, 1950s.
What does that mean?
Really quite pretty, very limited in colors, because I guess back then, often, printing in color would be expensive, so they had like 1 or 2 colors per page, that sort of thing. So it's quite simple ink line drawings. Where I just, per spread, I choose 1 or 2 colors.
Yeah.
So it's like really, really simple, aesthetically, like simplistic style. I guess it's a bit of a mix between Eloise. You know the Eloise at the Plaza books by Kate Thompson, illustrated by Hilary Knight, a personal hero of mine.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think he was just incredible. Well, he's still around.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also Tintin, like that sort of simplistic, minimal style.
They're very charming and elegant. They're not quite like the watercolors you've been putting on Instagram at Parisian Postcards, are they?
Well, thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, well.
No, yes and no. So these are more simple in the way I color them. So I do the drawings first and I scan them in and I add the color in the computer to get like a really simple field of color. The illustrations are quite similar to my watercolors in the way that I use simple line drawings, like black ink line drawings. But the whole coloring is different.
And the fun kind of story of how we work together, because it takes a long time to make a children's book, especially for the illustrator.
Yeah.
I got the easy job in this one, to be fair, in terms of the time it takes. Here's something I haven't talked about that I found really interesting. I wrote the text as a block poem, basically.
Yeah.
And I showed it to people and we read it before you even started illustrating. And people, I like it, that's great. People had some feedback and so on. And then you sort of, you drew it out.
Yeah, I started dividing the text into like different spreads and different pictures.
Right, and then you added some pictures and I added some text, and it was a really collaboration, which was fun.
It's like organic growth of the story.
And then what the bit that I found really interesting was when we, for the first time, put the text with the pictures. So there was 2 lines for every picture, more or less, and you looked at it and you sort of turned the pages. I realized that a children's book isn't just a poem. In fact, it doesn't work like that because no one reads it out in 1 minute, or 30 seconds or whatever, as you do with the poem.
You don't go straight.
Yeah, it's almost like a new story on every page, and sometimes the connection doesn't work, or it just changes it. So it's almost like every spread is a story.
Yeah.
And I imagined that people would turn the spread, see the Canal Saint-Martin with the crocodile hidden away there somewhere, and spend 30 seconds on that page. So the rhythm changes too. It was really fun, actually.
It's really interesting, actually.
Really different to everything we've been doing so far.
Yeah.
But anyway, we put it on Kickstarter and we did it at these different levels. I assume there's probably people listening now who haven't seen this yet. But the idea of and the reason we chose Kickstarter is people can buy a book, and that's lovely. But just like I did with Paris on Air, there are other tiers, like you can choose to have, for example, a limited edition with, original illustrations in it by you. Or you can have your name printed in the book, like on the thank you page, which is a tower of macarons.
Yes. For a children's book, you have to make it cute, right?
Exactly, like a fun acknowledgements page.
Yeah.
And that's how Kickstarter works, and that's how crowdfunding works, because someone will pay extra to put their name in the book, and that allows us to print the books.
Just more options.
Exactly. So at the moment, now that it reached the goal and really overwhelmed us, sort of, we're talking about what Kickstarter calls stretch goals, which means, for example, making merch, or, people have been sending in emails saying, will you make a stuffed crocodile? And we're kind of like, well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. It sounds fun. But anyway, so that's where we're at. And now I thought it'd be fun to just read out a few of the emails and comments that have been coming in. The Kickstarter, if you want to find it and support it, you can just go to theearfultower.com/Kylie, Kylie, the name of the crocodile. or just find any of our social media channels, and I think you'll be able to find it really easily
Yes.
because we tried to make it easy. And you can get a book for, you can get in for 20 euros. In
Yeah.
fact, you can get in for 10 euros and get the online version.
That's true.
And then there's tiers all the way up to the top tier where you can have cocktails with me and Lena in a tour of the Canal Saint-Martin if you...
And yes, you heard right, folks. Cocktail.
You know what I thought was really interesting? When we did the live YouTube video,
Yeah.
we just made some random drinks and called them cocktails rather than cocktails. And at first I thought it was a joke, but people kept asking for the recipe
Yeah,
of the cocktails.
I think we need to. Well, you know what this means.
What?
We need to make a cocktail book. Yeah.
I was like, oh, we just put anything into it. I don't know. Okay, so let's go through the comments. Here's one for you that I just saw now. They just sent it in from Cindy Owens. She says, I wasn't initially interested in a children's book. I don't have children. But I've been an avid supporter of the Eiffel Tower. After the teaser video of Oliver's rhyming and always entertaining prose, and Lena's gorgeous drawings, I couldn't resist. It's a winning combination for sure. I can't wait.
Aww.
That's interesting, Cindy. I don't have children either. I don't know about you, Lena. But it is a nice book. It's kind of like Lena's art mixed with my words, and I'm not at all surprised that people would want to buy it for themselves.
Well, I've actually got quite a few emails and messages saying like, I don't have children, but I got one for myself.
It's just like watching...
Someone was like, I'm gonna read it to my cat.
Yeah. Was that Irene?
No.
Because I got
Well, maybe it's a popular thing.
I got an email from... In fact, I can read it because I've got it saved. I got an email from Irene White, who's a avid supporter of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And probably your stuff too, I imagine. It's just up in front of me, so I'll read it. I did a walk show just for Patreon members the other night. I'm not going to promote Patreon because this is about the children's book. But I did a walk show where I walked through the streets of Montmartre late at night. And she sent a lovely message. She said, merci so much for that Montmartre walk today/tonight. I'm in LA and we're having a heat wave. So to go to Paris for an hour where it's cool and dark was such a treat. Luckily, you couldn't hear me because I kept saying, oh, I've been there. Should I do an accent maybe? Should I guess her accent? It's in
Sure.
inverted commas. What is it, LA? What's an LA accent?
I don't know.
Luckily, you couldn't hear me because I kept saying...
Just do a southern.
Okay.
Do southern.
Oh, I've been there. I know that corner. I bought a coffee there. And she added, luckily, my cats are here to listen. I'm kidding. They do not listen. Again, thank you so much. Becoming a Patreon was one of the best decisions I made this year, from Irene.
Oh, that's so lovely.
It's that is really lovely. Thanks for sending that. And
And I feel like it's a really good plug for your Patreon.
was it a plug? It wasn't meant to be a plug. What? But that is
All right,
how everything
Moving
exists.
on to other fun comments.
I gave a plug for Parisian postcards,
That's true.
to be fair. Here comes a poem from Elizabeth Mack, I'm going to call her, because I'm not sure if it's McKinney or McInerney.
McInerney.
Yes, I call her Elizabeth Mack, but she's written a poem for us. Do you want to hear it?
Go on then.
In an old house in Paris, somewhere in Montmartre, lived Oliver and Lena, devoted to art. They wrote... You're smiling. I wish everyone could hear Lena's smile.
You've been so sweet.
They wrote and they painted. They made beautiful stuff. They made people smile. And that wasn't enough. They gave us a dream that we'd one day be free to go back to Paris and search for Kylie. It doesn't really... So all our best wishes we're sending to you, Oliver and Lena. Merci beaucoup.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
I love that one.
That's very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Some other people wrote, Comte de Saint-Germain wrote a poem. Congrats to Kylie, the canal crocodile, created by Cool Cats. She kickstarted my smile.
So good.
These are lovely poems. There's a lot of lovely comments, and if you want to get in on
It's
that,
so good.
there's that's on the Kickstarter page under the updates. A lot of people are writing really fun stuff there, so check it out. I don't know if I have time to read more from that, but reading those poems reminded me of reading from the book, which I don't have a copy of it with me, but I know the words, I think, by heart.
Yeah.
And I think we'll tell the story of filming that we just referenced in a previous email from Cindy Owens there. So we went down to the canal to film a little, what they call a piece to camera in the industry. And there are a lot of people around, and I'm always like a little self-conscious to go off the rails and try and be funny when people are walking
like
past.
draw attention to you.
Yeah,
Because in Paris, no one likes to draw attention
Exactly.
to
It's the opposite,
themselves.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So I said, Lena, why why didn't I stand in front of the camera and read the first couple of lines? And I did it, and I read it sort of quietly and mysteriously.
Yeah, it was
And-
very, very relaxed.
Yeah, it was very relaxed. And Lena looked at me and said, that was rubbish. Do it 200%. And I was like,
I did
yes,
say
she's
that,
right.
didn't I?
So I did one of my favorite tricks is I jumped into screen. That always is the best way to do it. And I read it as if I was Steve Owen, the crocodile hunter from Australia. May
Yeah.
he rest in peace. And
Spirit fingers and all.
oh yeah, I went. So everyone should watch that at the top of the Kickstarter page. But I'd like to redo it now
Please.
to my best effort. And you guys can imagine this is how the book starts. Okay, Kylie the crocodile in Paris. In a Paris canal at the edge of the town, a scaly old creature is swimming around. You can see, if you carefully stare for a while, her crocodile teeth and her crocodile smile. And that's how it begins.
Oh, I wish people could see you
Why? Because
doing
I was
that.
doing the fingers again?
Yeah, it was a lot of like kneading an invisible dough,
Kneading an invisible dough.
one-handed.
Yeah. Or the famous screwing in an invisible light bulb.
Yeah.
That's a famous one.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. Crocodile teeth. Anyway, so it's that kind of rhyme scheme, runs through the whole thing. And the story, goodness me, we haven't even talked about the story. Let's end on that.
Oh yeah, okay, that's probably quite
Yeah.
a good idea.
The story, gosh, we should have started with that, is it's imagining what happened to this crocodile after she was set free in the canal. In fact, what we've talked about is the first 6 pages.
Yeah,
But it's good to have a bit of a surprise.
sure.
It's Kylie the crocodile, people watching during the day and exploring Paris during the night.
She
So-
goes traveling.
Yeah, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you drew the day and the night scenes, and then we'll round it out with one last comment that made me laugh.
Okay, so as you said, in the day she goes people watching, but obviously she has to stay hidden.
I mean, what
she's a huge
What happened if the
crocodile.
mayor saw her down there?
Are you rhyming?
No, not yet. But exactly.
So
she
yeah,
has to stay
so
hidden.
she stays hidden in the day. So she's always in a corner. So it's kind of fun. Like you can search for the crocodile.
It's a bit of like where's Wally or
yeah,
where's Waldo
like
or
it'll be a
whatever.
tiny little detail where she is, and otherwise it's just like a Paris scene, and she with lots of people,
Like a sewer
Parisians
grate
doing
or
stuff.
something, like looking
exactly.
Like, yeah.
And
Storm
then-
drain.
Storm drain.
That's the word.
And then in the night,
Oh, here
she
we go.
goes exploring Paris,
Yes.
and she doesn't have to stay as hidden. So she goes and have a little look at the Louvre.
Yes.
Museum?
So the idea is she swims through the sewers and pops out in the Louvre or whatever.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of imagination going on here.
Well, the crocodile also talks or thinks.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of imagination.
Yes, we went a bit. We went freestyle.
We
on
went
this.
haywire,
We
didn't we?
did, yeah.
We were locked. We're in confinement. These are the ramblings of two mad people. But there are lovely pictures: Eiffel Tower, the Louvre,
Lots of famous places.
some of my favorite statues and artwork and stuff, features.
Yeah.
And like Luxembourg Gardens and
Yeah, she
Bon
goes
Marché.
like a patisserie. You know,
Oh, yes.
she does it all. The whole Paris thing.
So there you go. Like the idea is, like Cindy Owens says, if you're an adult, I think you'll appreciate things that kids would never understand. Oops, I said kids. I meant children. Mum switched off. Children's books. So there you go. That's the book. Please go and check it out. I'm going to read you an email that might make you laugh, Lena.
Okay.
But this is one that came through on Instagram. I shared it on Instagram at the Eiffel Tower, the fact that we'd done this children's book. And Kathy Wren, 41, writes in. She says, "This is so cute." Should I do my LA accent?
Please.
No, this is so cute. I totally need to catch up. She's obviously behind. I totally need to catch up. I was binging the podcast from season 1, but I had to stop and take a break when I realized all my thoughts had taken on your voice and your accent.
Are you serious?
It's so funny that I'm doing her voice. So,
That's so amazing.
that is-
So what? So is it Oliver saying like, what was her name?
Kathy Wren, 41.
Kathy, go and water your plants.
Kathy. Yeah, well, I'm taking on all her. No. So I'm thinking
you're
for, I
thinking,
guess.
yeah.
Oh, I need to eat more vegetables. Oh, it's meant to be 7 glasses of water a day. What should I do? Oh, look at the window. There's water. No, okay. But that's pretty funny. Don't binge the podcast, people. That sounds dangerous.
Hazard.
Occupational hazard. All right, guys, we won't take up any more of your time, but that's our project that we've been working on.
It is, and we're very excited to be launching this and see it come to life. I mean, it will happen now.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
Definitely.
thank you to everybody who was among the initial backers. If you want a copy in time for Christmas, you'll have to get in on that Kickstarter, because that's going to be the initial print run that we'll send directly out. In fact, it was sent from the printing house, which is in New Jersey. I'm using the same printing house that I used for Paris on Air, another Paris book that everyone should get. And yeah, so you get it through that, you'll get it quickly in time for Christmas. It will be available afterwards, so you can always wait, but highly recommend you support the Kickstarter. And that's it. So theeiffeltower.com/Kylie. Check it out, get a copy, and keep sending in those fun emails, because they're making us laugh and we're enjoying every minute of it.
Yes.
But that'll do for now. You've been listening to the Earful Tower podcast. Thanks again to Luke's English podcast for having us. He's downstairs. He might be able to hear us.
Yeah, he might.
Thanks to Lena, my wife, and the illustrator of this lovely children's book. And thanks again to all you guys for listening. We really appreciate it.
And thanks to you.
To me. And thanks to Eddie, my little brother, for editing this episode and making all the bonuses that we've been putting out. But that'll do. theeiffeltower.com/Kylie. Kathy Wren, if you're still listening. Okay, I must go on the Kickstarter campaign and support Oliver and Lena. This is what I must do now. This is what I must do.
I'm pretty sure this is illegal.
All right, guys, we'll leave you with that. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.